Hey, witches!
Hi, hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Well of Ascension.
Yes.
Shit be happening. Shits be happening.
Yeah, it does. Oh my gosh. Chapter 34.
Chapter 34, we starting off strong.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. They're trying to come up with a plan for who is going to be the king now.
And they're not necessarily trying to get, well, yes, they are trying to get Ellen's throne back. So he's trying to get kind of like a game plan
Yeah.
going for all of this.
Yeah, trying to figure out, like, how they're going to convince, the council or whatever, the assembly, basically to re-elect Ellen to the seat that they are deposing him from. And they're going through, they're researching all kinds of things. Like they're researching things about the other nominees.
It's like, who's going to vote for who? Like, this person will definitely vote for him. This whole group's got is voting for that person.
Yeah.
It's kind of the ordeal that we're getting. And it's just kind of, arguing back and forth about it. And like the best way to go around it. And there's really not. Ellen made it pretty solid.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
So shame on him for being so good at his job.
Yes. We kind of have a new character that is kind of introduced here. Or
Njorden or something like that.
Yeah, and if they're not new, then I just forgot about them. But he's an obligator, and he's helping them do this research, and he's kind of cracking me up. He's cheerful and like kind of making fun of
He's the opposite of like what the obligators were.
Yeah, and he's cracking me up in this because he's like, you should have seen the way you all looked, Your Majesty, when Set revealed himself. A few of the noble assemblymen actually jumped from their seats. I think the rest of you were too shocked to. And Ellen's like, please focus on the task at hand. Like, hello, come back.
He's like a character like Colin Greavy, like excited to be like working with you and like understanding you, but
yeah,
a little much.
Yes, exactly.
My comment comes at the end of all of this chapter, so like, to be honest,
there's a part on 412. So the more like time goes on and certain things happen, the more I'm starting to suspect Ellen. Because there's a part on 412 where Tyndall is like, you read over this law before it was ratified, says it, and sorry, I'm like not fully awake yet. Kind of judging Sazed basically because they're not supposed to be involved in like politics and things like that. And Ellen's like, Tidwell, you were not invited to this meeting. You are suffered at it. Your advice has been well appreciated, but I will not allow you to insult a friend and guest of my household, even if those insults are indirect. And she's like, I apologize, Your Majesty. And then he's like, you will not apologize to me. You will apologize to Sazed, or you will leave this conference. And it's just quite like out of character for Ellen.
It really is. But there was also something too that that like happened, and it's with like Vin, because he's just like out of character for her too, because he's telling her all these things that could have been done or was done, and it's like, you didn't even warn her about this. You didn't even tell her. You didn't give her any like clue as to what you were doing, and she's like, kind of not prepared for that.
Yeah. Well, and then like she's trying to tell him something or talk to him about something, and on 413 he's like, that's wonderful, I really don't have time right now. And then she starts kind of spiraling, like, oh, like he doesn't need me anymore, what if he leaves me, blah blah blah. And of course, right about then is when Zane shows up.
Listen, I'm all about the Zane train.
I don't think we're gonna call it that.
I like it.
Oh my gosh.
And honestly, he's a little crazy in this, and but I still dig it, because he's essentially, I mean, he's telling Vin that he loves her, and it's just like so weird.
Yeah, he's
because
very
they've
awkward.
Obviously not really had like a true conversation about it, and he's just being weird about it. It's like, come with me, both of us could leave. Straff would lose his Mistborn, Ellen would lose his. We could deny them both their tools, and we would be free. And she's like, this thing between us, Zane, isn't what you think. And she's like, I love Ellen, Zane, I really do. And then he's like, it makes sense. That's the way it's always been, right? And then you're just like, wait, what? Hold up. You could have shut her down real fast and been like, whoa, I don't know anything about you yet. Like, you know, like the sensible thing. But again, Zane is a little insane, so he doesn't do that. He gets jealous of his brother, essentially, and his inner monologue is telling him to kill him.
Yeah. But
because of that jealousy.
Yeah.
And it's just weird.
Well, and the crazy thing is that he came there basically to test and find out if they had any atium, because he starts burning atium while they're sparring, and she's like, oh fuck, he's gonna kill me. But obviously he doesn't. And he's like, oh, you really don't have it. And then they start this conversation about, like, you know, her loving Ellen. And he's like, yeah, okay. And then it's jealousy. And then he tells her that, he is Ellen's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Zane's basically telling her not to pity him. And it's like, he doesn't hate Ellen. Which I think he does. I mean, your jealousy's got to come from somewhere, right? It's got to have some powerful feeling somewhere along the lines. And what better powerful way to say this than jealousy and hate?
Well, honestly, I kind of feel like he more so hates his father. Like, Ellen is just like his father's tool to hurt him, kind of, almost. But
yeah, I think maybe his hate for Elend, if he does in fact truly hate him, is just because I think Vin. I don't think he like really gives a shit about anything else except
Yeah. I definitely
for
think
his
that,
role with Vin.
like, I can't tell, and maybe it's just because, like, of, I don't know, past traumas, but I feel like he's manipulating her, like,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, like, he's like, oh, look, feel sorry for me, but don't feel sorry for me. Um,
Don't pity me, woman.
yeah, but,
Damn, I didn't say I did.
um, kind of playing that sympathy card, but then he's
Mm-hmm.
telling her, um, that about the refugees from the town of, I'm guessing, Suisna is how you pronounce it, um, from the Colossus army, and how they came to Straff for help, and he sent them on into the city, not only to make the people of the city more afraid, but also to, like, drain their resources even more. And Zane's like, yeah, I wanted to give you a warning, both of the refugees and of my orders. Think of my offer, Vin. Think about this man who claims to love you. You know he doesn't understand you. If you leave, it will be better for both of you. Like, he's trying to um put a wedge between them, kind of, and pull her away.
Yeah, and his attitude and how he hasn't really spoken to Vin about anything, um, kind of gives way to that too. And the very last part of the book actually says, well, proof was coming. She'd soon see. She'd soon understand what Ellen Venture truly thought of her.
Yeah, that's ominous.
I know. I'm like, oh my god.
Like, what's about to happen? And yeah, and that's the end of chapter 34. So
Crazy.
yeah, then chapter 35. Um, they are all dressed up
Getting all
because,
nice and pretty for this vote.
yeah, and Vin is, you know, being a girly girl. She's loving her new dress that lets her move, but is still beautiful. She's able to do it all. Um, and then I was just like, I feel like on page 421, I was like, Ellen is changing. Something is different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where
I
did I
just
write that?
everything that's happening right now in this chapter, I guess, it's just I don't know, it's really weird because like Ellen's being weird about stuff, Set's being weird about everything. I don't even know Set's motive at this point, to be quite frank with you. Like we're obviously here to vote for who's going to be the next king, and then he like everyone's got like their closing statements essentially before voting were to take place, and Set just goes off on everything. I swear to God, he's like the Donald Trump of
Oh
this
my
location.
god, yes. He's just like, yeah, I'm the best.
Talks he just talks about everything, and also like and then nothing at all, like basically saying like you should choose me because of these the reasons, these are the best. What are you going to do about the Colossus army? And then everybody starts freaking the fuck out because it's like way to drop a bomb there.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I don't understand his motive.
Yeah, he's very,
Like nothing. It just doesn't make sense.
yeah. Wait, they're at dinner with Set, right? Right now? Not at the assembly? I think I messed that up. Yeah.
Did you mess that up or did I mess that up? It's been a
I
bit.
did, because I said that they got dressed up to go to the assembly meeting, but they didn't get dressed up to go to the assembly meeting. They got dressed up to go to dinner with Set, because they went to dinner with Straff, so Set was like, you'll have just dinner with us. But he is an interesting character. Even in this, like, all the comments you just made stand for this situation, because he's like, I'm just blunt. There's a difference. And I don't know. He's just weird. He's like, that isn't all how all this works. If there's an opportunity to stabilize your power or to get more power, you damn well better take it, and I will. They're also concerned about doing what's proper when people can see them, but at the same time, they find nothing wrong with going and raping a couple of ska women when the party is through. At least I swear to your face. So, like, and she's like, what would you do? What will happen if you win the throne? And he's like, honest answer. And Ellen says, always. And he says, first thing, I'll have you assassinated. Can't have old king sticking around. So, like, he's just very, I feel like comparing him to Trump was a very good comparison, because he's just like saying wild things.
Yeah, and it like none of it's making any sense, and you're just like, why are you doing this? Like, why this now?
Yeah. And
then he's just like, because fuck you, that's why.
Right. Well, and then he's like, of course you have the ATM, blah, 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 blah. I don't understand why everyone is so convinced that they have it. Because I feel like the war would be going very differently if they did. Like,
honestly though, like if
Vin would be out
you
there
had fucking
like
ATM,
slaughtering them all. Like,
oh yeah. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. But that's really all I had for the rest of this chapter.
Nope, that's it. Set's insane.
Yeah. Oh,
in
yeah.
a
He
different
says
way.
something about possibly holding him for ransom, Ellen for ransom. And he's like, I'm not even the king. Like, they don't give a shit. Like,
yeah. It's like, I just live here, bro.
right.
Like, there ain't nothing happening.
I have been deposed. I'm just a nominee. They're not going to pay ransom for a nominee. And you're also a nominee, and they're not going to vote for you if you're holding people ransom.
Yeah.
And then it's chapter 36.
So, we learn that they took in all of the refugees from the Koloss army.
Yeah. And they've made like a makeshift camp for them in an abandoned warehouse.
Like a refugee camp. Yeah. It was the same warehouse that they ended up meeting, I think, the last time in the first book, prior to them going to, I think it was prior to them going to the where Kelsier passed or was murdered.
Yeah.
But
and so Sazed and Tindwyl and Breeze are there trying to like help and comfort the people. Breeze is soothing them. Tindwyl says something though that I was like, yes. Oh, she's coming around, basically. Tindwyl is talking to Sazed, and she's like, you care for them, and she's like, you confuse me, Sazed. He's like, You look tired.
Welcome to
Where's
my
your
life.
bronze mind? And he's like, I used most of my wakefulness in my run to Luthadel. I was so eager to get here. And then she's like, okay, show me. What were you so excited about that you ran across 2 dominances? Let's see it. So she's starting to come around and is willing to hear him out on things. And then, even with that situation, so he's always messing with people's emotions constantly. Like, it's not
Mm-hmm.
something that he ever stops doing. And he was like soothing Tindwell and Sazed as well. So he was soothing Sazed to be um, less fatigued and soothing away his pain. And then he was soothing Tindwell's sense of responsibility and disappointment to let the other emotions that she was feeling come out, like curiosity, respect, and love about Sazed and what he was doing. So it's just interesting. And I love him. He's like, ooh, like a puppet master almost.
Yeah.
Um,
It's okay, hold on. Let me get my words. Do you think it's invasive what Breeze is doing?
yes and no, because I feel like those emotions are already there. Like, it's not like he's
Mm-hmm.
making them feel something that they aren't already feeling. He's just making it more or less intense. So, do I think it's invasive? Mainly because he can't, like, normal people wouldn't know what people were feeling like that, so they wouldn't know that. That part feels invasive to me. You can't hide how you're feeling from him.
Mm-hmm.
But what he's doing, anyone could do with words too. Like, you can manipulate people's feelings just by saying the right thing. So,
Yeah.
do I think he's in the right? Not necessarily. I don't think he's in the right for like manipulating their lives, just like I wouldn't if somebody was using words to manipulate somebody's emotions.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if invasive is the right word. But
Feel like you have to be really, really, really fucking good at what you're doing to be able to read what people want.
yeah,
So I feel like, yes, it is a little invasive because you're just. It's a little invasive from, you know, the standpoint of, are you actually wanting to, like, feed off those feelings?
right.
Like,
And it
do you actually
feels like
want
it
to?
takes away some of your choice, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like Tindwell wants to do the right thing and follow her vows or follow her order, but he
Yeah.
is
And
soothing that away and making her choose something different, something that ultimately is probably going to be better for her in the long run, but then it takes away her
yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
But I
I don't
love
know.
Breeze because he is putting on such a good show about how he doesn't care and he doesn't want to be there helping, because Ham
Mm-hmm.
is like, where's it at? Or Ellen says, "You're not going to stay here all night, are you, Breeze?" And Breeze is like, "Oh, Lord Ruler, no. You're lucky you got me to come here at all. This is no place for a gentleman." Blah 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 blah. And Ham goes, "Someday you're going to have to learn to think about other people." And I'm like, he does. That's all he does. That his life revolves around thinking about other people, and he cares. Like, he puts on a really good show, but he cares about these people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's
Whether he
here.
wants to believe it or not.
Yeah.
Whether he thinks whether like he deserves to, help them or whatever.
Yeah. And then we're back at the castle. I think we're back at the castle. Yeah. Or the palace, I guess. And Breeze and Clubs are like chatting and kind of hanging out. And I am cracking up at this pairing. Like, they are just so opposites, but there's still just like a really interesting friendship happening here.
Yeah.
And basically they're kind of like commiserating and grieving together for Kelsier, because they're talking about like why they started all of this. Breeze started or joined Kelsier for the challenge, and Clubs joined for money, but they both stayed. They both stayed.
But for why?
Yeah. And then Alrianne shows up.
We also learn a little bit about Alrianne.
Yeah.
We find out that she is actually a rioter.
Yes.
And
which I don't know why I never considered that, but it makes so much sense. Because her and Breeze don't make any sense. And the way that Breeze reacts to her doesn't make any sense, but it's because she is rioting his emotions.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, it's a little weird considering she's, 20 years younger than him.
It is, but I feel like there's a purpose. Like, I don't think it's because she wants him. I think it's something else is happening, I feel.
Yeah. Maybe it's all for, maybe she wants to see the change in the world and she doesn't like it.
Could be.
I mean, there's a reason why she left. But honestly, if she's a rioter and he's a soother, they're perfect for each other.
Yeah. And we find out in this situation as well, because this is like Vin talking to Ursor about her being an Allomancer, and then we also learn in this situation that Clubs is not the Kandra, because he always uses copper around Breeze, so he can't be soothed, and so it's confirmed that he is not the spy.
Yay.
And now she's going to find Demo to put him in prison, according to her. And
without any evidence.
Yeah. But when she finds, so he got away from her like guard that she had watching him, or the servant that she had watching him. And she goes to find him, and I didn't think that he was actually the spy because that felt too easy, but I wasn't ready for the truth.
It honestly, I was expecting 18 other different things.
Yeah, this is not what I was expecting. The truth is not what I was expecting. So Demo is part of the cult of the survivor. He is at a meeting of the Church of the Survivor. And he is spreading the, like, not the news, but he's like promoting Ellen because he's like, Lady Vin loves him. She wouldn't love a weak man. And he's basically like, we have to trust the survivor's judgment. He's like rallying the ska for Ellen. And so Vin is like, well, back.
Well, shit.
Guess I was wrong. He was being shady because he is part of the Church of the Survivor, not because he's the Kandra. Or she says he might be the Kandra, but it's going to be harder to prove. That's not why he's sneaking out at night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I keep pushing into Scarlet, and I feel like a dick every time. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Ugh.
But she's basically like, it's like with Dox, I think that Demone knows too much to be faking. He feels real to me. And Arsar's like, my brethren. And she's like, are quite skilled. Yes, I know. But we're not going to arrest him. Not tonight, at least. We'll keep an eye on him, but I don't think it's him anymore. And I agree. I don't think it's him either. And that's the end of chapter 30.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
I still don't, other than, like, my best theory is Ellen, but I feel like that's not correct. Like,
yo, if that's the case, that
it feels almost too wild to be correct.
Which means it's probably correct.
You're right, especially with this author. I feel like that's kind of on brand, but chapter 37.
Yo, this was a wild fucking chapter, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was. So it starts out with Sazed and Tyndall talking about the rubbing that he found, and they're talking about different things. And so they're talking about the deepness and that it is some sort of change in the mist. And so they're like, yeah, Vin was right.
Yeah.
Right. Which once Vin said it, I was like, oh, well, fucking duh. Like, but like the more people are like figuring it out, they're like, yeah, that's right.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But then Tyndall is all noble and shit because she's a terrorist woman. And she's like, all right, I'm leaving today, basically.
Bitch, no, you're not.
And he's like, leaving? The armies aren't going to let you pass. And she's like, I wasn't going to pass them, Sazed. I plan to visit them. I have given knowledge to young Lord Venture. I need to offer the same aid to his opponents. Do you, though? I mean, I get it. I get the terrorists are neutral people and yada, yada, yada. But, like, no.
No. I don't give a fuck. You ain't doing that.
Yeah. And then he says, it's like, okay, you must go then. And she's like, you refuse to argue. And he's like, why would I argue? You're gonna do what you're gonna do. And she's basically like, ask me to stay. She says it in a much more like roundabout way, but she's like, ask me to stay with you.
For the love of God, Susan, just tell me what you want.
Right. And he is like, I can't be what you want me to be. I'm not a man. And by that, he means he's a eunuch.
That's actually very profound, though.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he's like, I'm not a man because he's a eunuch. And she's like, bitch, you are more than a man to me.
Right. Well,
like,
and she's like, she says, I have had enough of men and childbearing over the years. I have done my duty to the terrace people. I should like to stay away from them for a time, I think. And so she's basically like, I'm just going to read this because I really like how she says it. She's like, I only ever saw one man pushing this synod. Is that how you say synod? Toward active measures. While they planned to how to keep themselves hidden, one man wanted to attack. While they decided the best ways to foil the breeding masters, one man wanted to plot the downfall of the final empire. When I rejoined my people, I found that man still fighting, alone, condemned for fraternizing with thieves and rebels. He quietly accepted his punishment. That man went on to free us all. And she's like, she says, give me an excuse, Sazin. And he says, I should like it very much if you stayed. And then she raises her eyebrow like, and he says, stay, please. And then she says, very well, you have persuaded me. Let us return to our studies then. And I just love them. I didn't think that I would love anyone for Sazin because like Sazin is just too perfect. But I love them.
They're my favorite.
I like them better than I liked Ellen and Ven. And that's saying something.
You know,
I really liked Ellen and Ven in the first book. But in this one, Ellen is changing and I don't like Ellen as much. So this is my new favorite couple of the thing. And then we're back to the crew and they are talking about how to get people to vote for him so he can get his throne back. And then he says, they're walking, him and Ham are walking, and Ellen just stops. And Ham's like, what? And Ellen's like, I've got an idea. And I'm just really excited because I still, even though Ellen is changing and he's getting on my nerves, I still love that beautiful brain of his. He's just so smart. And I can't wait to see what his idea is. And that's the end of chapter 37. So one more chapter, chapter 38. Now we are at the assembly for the vote. And at first it's all kind of just posturing, like they're all there. They got there early. They're like listening.
Trying to talk to everybody, basically.
Yeah, like schmoozing, kind of. But there's, on page 467, she learns that Ellen has basically, sorry, I was trying to process what I was trying to say. Ellen has joined the Church of the Survivor. Not because he actually believes, but to get votes, basically, which is kind of gross, and I don't really like it.
Yeah. Honestly, it really pissed me off when I heard about that.
Yeah.
Or when I read about that. I was like, excuse the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I feel it was like his last-ditch effort to try to win his throne back because he feels out of control, but like also there's no way that he can be in a true honest relationship with Vin and be in the Church of the Survivor, because they basically worship her, like,
yeah,
and it's gross.
and I feel like it would also, like, they could also try to use Vin.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily use Vin, but like
He
use
is
Ellen
using
to
her.
get to Vin.
Yeah.
Well, oh yeah,
Well,
he
and like,
definitely is.
I didn't feel like he was at first, like at the beginning of the book, like when Zane first started saying it. But as the book goes on, he is using her. He used her as a threat with Straff without talking to her about it first. He's using her now, his connection to her now, as with the Scotch trying to get votes. But on that same page, as he's like giving his speech or whatever, Vin is like, what is going on? Why are my eyes darting around the crowd? Why can't I focus on what he's saying? Why am I so on edge? And then she's like, why were those men subtly moving their way around the edges of the room? And I'm like, who is rioting her emotions? Because something's happening. Like, she is worked up, and for like, not for no reason, but like it's getting worse.
What if Set is not necessarily, well, actually, what if he is Mistborn? 1, 2, what if he's actually a rioter himself, because that's how she was?
Right. Or what if that's why she's there?
Man, what a bitch if that's the case.
Right? Like, how do we know that Set didn't send her there on purpose? Like, she could be acting. But anyway, basically there are assassins there. And they are only coming for Ellen.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about anybody else. Which also is Zane's in the crowd right now, isn't he?
I think no, I don't think. I don't know. I don't think he was during this one. He could be.
Because I was gonna say somebody else could be riding her emotions that's not like from Straff. We technically don't even know like who these people came from.
Yeah, we don't.
It could be a ploy between Straff and Set.
Yeah.
It might not be.
It could be Phylon. It could be Penrod. It could be really anybody. We don't fucking know. It could be fucking Jace.
Jace.
You know, whoever the fuck.
Jace. Yeah.
But Ven does her Ven stuff. And Ursula.
Yo, this actually kind of freaked me the fuck out.
Helps her.
I was like, this shit is so good.
Yeah, this was a really good battle. Like, honestly, I want this to be not a movie, because there's no fucking way they could do this in a movie, but maybe a TV show, more likely. The more that I get into fantasy, and now that I've started actually watching some anime, I'm like, fantasy books should
anime all the way.
Yeah, only be turned into anime.
Like I don't give a fuck if it's styled like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't care what kind of animation.
Cartoon, solid.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it needs to be.
I just feel like this battle would be so awesome to watch.
Oh, yeah. And just like, it's okay. It's really, really hard to describe this battle without like just reading it over again.
Yeah.
But essentially, she's flip-flying all over the stage, protecting Ellen from getting hurt, on top of kicking everybody's ass without using any metal, because each and every thug that's on the stage with her
has a coin shot with
has a coin shot. Yeah, so the coin shots can deflect or send back to them, and by not using these coin shots or like using coins during this battle, she can actually protect the crowd, which is great because it's packed.
Right. And so she is not only protecting Ellen
which is why it's
and
terrifying.
fighting all these people, but she's also protecting the crowd by not using one of her best weapons. But she uses Duralumin and basically uses all of her, is it copper that makes her stronger? No.
Tin? No.
No.
Yes.
Pewter.
Pewter.
She uses all of her pewter.
Pewter's that.
And then she has 2 injuries. She has a wound in her shoulder and a pain in her side. And she's like, fuck, like, I don't know if I can keep fighting. And then all of a sudden, here comes Orsor. And he has what looks like a wound in his shoulder. It's not a wound. It's not a wound. It is an opening where he has opened his skin to give her a vial of metal, which is just genius. And I just love him. And then she finishes the fight. But as all of this is happening, she feels like she's seen one of the thugs before. And I'm like, that's important. We're gonna find out that these are people that they know, or there's somebody like from within or something happening. But right at the end of the fight, after Vin saves his ass, she looks at Ellen and she sees horror on his face.
Yeah, because she ripped some dude's head off.
Yeah, she really did. And his head exploded, basically. She smashed her head hard into his face and his head exploded. And it's like, that's just yet another wedge between them.
Yeah, I was going to say, now we see the wedge.
Yeah.
Now the wedge is kicking up.
Yes. And then after everything calms down and everybody's fine, the council's like, nope, we're still having this vote. Or the assembly is like, we're still having this vote tonight. Because
that's so funny.
The deadline is today. And if they don't choose a new leader today, then Ellen gets to keep the crown. So they are having the vote. And I can't decide if Phylan always planned to vote for Penrod or if he switched allegiances.
I think he switched allegiances.
Because at first I was
just now.
Did they nominate Set just to be like, look, that's insane. That's a totally insane choice. Ellen isn't a good choice because he's the one we're deposing. So, that makes Penrod the best choice. Or if it was he truly wanted Set to have it and then changed it up.
What if he's actually on, what if him and Penrod, or maybe not even Penrod, maybe Penrod's easy to,
manipulate.
Either that or, an easy assassination target. And maybe he's actually, working for Set. And it was just his, maybe him bringing, not Set, Straff. And he is, manipulated Set into believing he was there for him.
Yeah. And yet again, Ellen's loopholes and shit, not loopholes, but Ellen's laws that he wrote, they bite him in the ass. Because he has it to where they're at a deadlock. With 15 votes for Penrod, 2 votes for Set, and 7 for Ellen. And because Elend is so honorable, he tells them, two of the guys want to change their votes. And Elend tells them the truth and is like, yes, the law allows for you to change your vote, but you may only do so once and must do so before the winner is declared. Everyone has the same opportunity. And the two that had voted for Set changed their votes to for Penrod, which means that he wins.
Boo, hiss, boo, hiss.
Yeah. And so Ellen stands up and takes off his crown and is like, here, you'll need this, and sets it on the mantle and walks out. And that is the end of part 3 of the book.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. And the next part, part 4, is called Knives, which feels ominous.
Yeah. Which is exactly why I'm like, maybe that's why Penrod had to win, because it's so, like, not easy, but like
they're going to assassinate him or something.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And like,
I think
where so. Vin was there to like protect Ellen, she's not going to give a fuck about Penrod.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And it's just like an easy way to get in there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that was that episode. Yeah.
And sorry, it's a week late. I had a death in the family.
Yes, we were grieving. So.
But anyways, until next time.
Bye.